I kind of wanted to share how I am working on my story on Notion. I have tried Milanote in the past, and it's great for how my brain works when I'm brainstorming. So I can just basically, oh, it's kind of acting up. So I can basically just write out whatever I feel like writing out, and usually there's no rhyme or reason, and there's no structure for it, or there's no pattern for it. So I can go into complete detail like this with the scenes, and then I can get really just really basic with it like this, and like have random ideas for random dialogue or just the one sentence idea for a scene. So there's no structure for this type of this stage, I guess, in the writing process. And so I did prefer Milanote for that reason, because it gave me a lot of freedom. And then as I went along, I could put it into different columns. So anything that's related to each other, I could put it together in one block that's representative of a column in Milanote. And then I can also link different ideas together using arrows, but not actual links. So you can't set up, let's say, do a hashtag and then link to another node in that way, kind of like what you might find on Obsidian or some of the other writing apps. And at first, this didn't really matter to me because this structure was perfect. Like it did a great job on getting the initial phase of the story down, where I'm just putting down everything that I kind of felt at the moment that relates to the story. So it was great. I really loved it. But right now, as the story is progressing and the draft is growing, I did require a little bit more structure and kind of more functionality, where it allowed me to link between different scenes in the story, and it still operated the way my brain operated. So I did want to retain the freedom that Milanote provided, where I could put down everything that I just thought of randomly. But I did want it a little bit more structured, slightly, just not enough to cripple me while I'm drafting, but like to enough to actually hold me up while I'm going through this process. So uh, the way I did it was by creating a database like of some scene ideas that I had, but it was more higher level. Like it's more like key moments that I wanted. I don't have the details for, but I know I needed it in the story. I don't know if I will keep every one of these, but I wanted some of these to be present in the final draft. And I wanted a way that, like when I was in school, the way I wrote my essays was I would have like key points at the bottom, and then I would draft at the top. And as I hit the key points, I would either delete them or shuffle them around or whatever have you. And so I wanted something that mimics that, but I also wanted it in a way where I had the ability to extract out information I needed that was in the scene that I could look for like really quickly later on. And this database kind of operates in that way. Initially, I also didn't I wanted to mention that I also didn't want like a strict structure where I would have like characters and then locations and etc. or chapters and everything. I did try that before. It wasn't working for me. There was just way too much information there. And later when I wanted to come back into the story, it did distract me a lot. So I've finally settled on this. Let me see if I have another. So I had another method, and this is only one of my methods. I've gone through so many, but this is the one that seems to have settled down for me. I'm gonna work on this. I'll obviously provide an update if I had to change it to something else. But for now, I wanted to share this because I was really excited, because I feel like this might be the one. We will see. But yeah, I had another method where I would. I also work in a different kind of way. So like every day, I would have like some random idea that dealt with something that was either far off, or I don't know. I didn't want to really structure it. I wanted some kind of freedom to just write wherever I wanted to write. And that in that particular day. And then sometimes like, and then later, like I put in this other structure in there, the locations, chapters, questions, blah, 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 blah. But like, I didn't want to feel married to it. I didn't want to commit to it. So, because I didn't want all this gazillions of columns here that, sorry, excuse me. I didn't want a gazillion columns here that I had to fill out as I went along. I wanted absolute freedom, but some structure. And the only way I could think of doing that or accomplishing that is by having this database with tags. And the tags I didn't want in any kind of hierarchy form or no real organization really. And I wanted to be completely free form here. So if I wanted to list out a character that appears here, then I have the freedom to list that out. But if I didn't want to list them out, then I didn't need to. list them out. And why that's important for me is because I mainly use the tags as anchors. So stuff like this, I already know all the characters that appear here. I know what's going on here. I don't need any threads, or I don't need any tags to really list out the stuff that's happening here. I don't need it because it's all in my brain. But stuff that's happening here, I haven't really ironed out completely yet. And so I do need some kind of a label there that helps me quickly think, okay, this is what's appearing here. But I don't want everything. So stuff like this, like I know Vea's in there. I know Paxy's also going to be in there, but I don't need to list that out. But I do need to keep track of Arden's code because that hasn't cemented in my brain yet. So I really like this column represents all the things that I kind of want as anchors, but I don't want to be obligated to fill it out if I don't need to. But obviously, as I'm writing out the scenes later on, I wanted this entire database to be versatile as well. So ultimately, by the end of it, I want to have my entire draft in here, and that's a tall order. But how I also wanted to do it is like to save me time from later, like during the editing phase. I wanted like the ability to be able to track things if I needed it. Again, the versatility comes in at this point as well. So later on, when I'm looking through this, for example, when I'm actually going through the editing phase, oh, I don't have the actual draft here. I'm still in the process for bringing this stuff in, but I know like certain things will appear here, like the dart will appear here, and then I know the Labrador will appear here, right? And when I'm going through the editing phase, I'm gonna be filling out the tags at that point, just so I can look at everything at a glance and spot any continuity errors or any failures in logic, or I don't know, anything that like it will help me dissect that scene and reverse outline in a way. I also wanted was that I wanted so I wanted all. So basically, I wanted the freedom, I wanted the slight structure, but I didn't want it all in my face. So what I ended up doing was I have the mission here, and I have the tags that are kind of all over the place and kind of just organized here. But then all the columns, so like the characters, the locations, the missions, the fauna and flora. There's going to be technology and stuff added on here as I go along, but all of that extra organization bits are going to be here, so that way everything is linked up and I can access everything through that one tag, and it's so fantastic. So I can still keep the structure that I want, like so the characters will be here, and then the location, and I'm sorry, everything is really sparse right now because I'm still moving in my notes, and but everything is going to be here and it's going to be listed out. So like the characters, the habitats that they are in, the location that they appear in the story, their diet, their behavior, their intelligence level, their everything. Like it's going to be all the images related to them, and it's all going to be joined by tags that join back to the document, the main draft here. But I will still have the little nitty gritty details and data that I really like, just tucked away, so it's not distracting for me, and I'm not obligated to fill them out yet, but it is there for me for later during the editing phase. So I feel a sense of comfort that I'm not going to lose anything. Everything is here, and it will be a matter during the editing phase to just kind of comb through everything, make sure everything makes sense. And this is one of the things that I'm going to be doing is that when I'm reviewing the draft, I left a note to myself. When going through the drafts, logic tests each tag. You can group by bookends column or by the tag name column. So I can either group by this and just see if everything makes sense down the line, like all those scenes, or I can group by this and just see if this makes sense. So are all the tags that's associated with this, does it make sense? And then you can see how those tags have appear in other scenes, and see how this particular scene might be related to other scenes in the book. So it gives you like different ways to see your book, and logic tests everything. I'm hitting Control Z to get it back to its original state. And yeah, and then if you go into here, back to your draft, let's say you have this is a placeholder. It's also tags are also so versatile. So instead of having to list out each team, or each member of the team that is going to be consistent, which is like Paxi, Rai, Vea, Kate, Ezran. Um, it's all in one tag here. And then let's go back to the mission briefing. You can go into the mission and find out all the details for this here. So this is a mission related. These are all the characters that are going to be in that mission. These are all the creatures that they will encounter. These are the locations that they will be in. These are the discoveries that they make. This is the overall objective. This is what ends up happening. This is the question that they're asking going into it. This is the phenomena that's happening, that's unusual. And then this is their conclusion. And then another thing that I really liked about working here is that you can also, oh, not this one. You can also open up your draft, and I left a tags to consider list here to remind myself that later on when I'm editing, or even when later, like when I'm rereading this and I think, okay, I need to make sure this isn't a tag, I need to keep track of this. These are some of the tags that I can also consider if I'm ever in the moment, like in the mood to like start, organizing it if I want to. And another thing, and also I am trying to like keep some structure in the tags by indicating, so for locations it would be L, so this is the location one, and then it's not like absolutely required. It's if I want it or not. And then discoveries would be D, plot threads would be T, sorry. And then I can also indicate the emotions for that moment. So like in this moment here, it'll be wonder. For this moment, I don't know yet. But yeah, I can track that. And then the flora and fauna that appears. So in here, the sentinel will appear here. And you can also bring in the other databases in the background that you have. So this is the image of the sentinel. And they're all linked up. So if you go into the sentinel here, you can see this is the creature. Those are the scenes related to that creature. These are the images that's related to that creature. And you can even go in here and look at the actual image database for it. And then if you want to go back, you can go back to here, the scene, and into the draft itself. What I also like about Notion is the fact that, and I didn't think of doing this before, but it's the fact that you can write out the scene and then you can write the background stuff that is just for you, just for your background knowledge. So you make sure that the logic is sound and you don't forget that this is what's happening in the background. You can write a block, have a block that's a call out, and then set the color to a different color. And for me, this is the color that works. It's gray, and then blue on gray background, because it makes it disappear in my head when I'm actually focusing on the draft itself. But if I need to think back to why something is happening, it's right there. I really love that. And then I can also list out what's going on here. And then for myself here, I would list out, okay, there's issues inside, and then there's groundwork that needs to be laid. So that means for me that this scene is not the end all be all kind of scene. Like I have to have more scenes will be spawned from the scene. So more scenes will show up here, more scenes will show up later. And speaking of that, I also wanted to indicate like the ridiculous structure that I have in place right now for this. I know it's really simplistic. I know I really love the 7-point plot structure, and then there's also the 27 chapter structure, but I feel like when I'm actually writing that story, I don't want to be committed to any one kind of structure really. Maybe later on when I go through the story, I want to like, I'll probably label the different structure points that it hits, so like the hook or etc. On here, maybe as a tag, or maybe I'll create a section here as that. But for now, I want it to be kind of open-ended. And the way my mind works about a story, I guess the simplest way would be a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? And then this is the exact center of the story. And I wanted to keep it like that because I didn't know exactly how each point would hit on a proper structure. So, but I do know that, let's say this point is going to hit at the beginning, and it's actually going to be in the beginning. And this point I know is going to be in the beginning, but maybe not at the beginning. It'll be in the middle of the beginning. So this works in that sense. And then near the end of the beginning, where we're kind of getting into the meat of the story here, this stuff is going to start happening. There's going to be a few other stuff that's happening, but yeah, that's how my brain is operating. And obviously it looks, oops, sorry, it kind of got cut off in the last bit, but yeah, obviously it looks kind of sparse right now, and I will probably do another example later if this continues to work, and I'm really hopeful that it does. But and if anyone else likes it, I can also create a template, and make it available, I guess. But I just don't want to put something out there that I haven't tested for a while. So I guess I will first continue testing it, and if I feel like this is the one for sure, for real, then I will post it up. But yeah, I just wanted to put out whatever I've thought of so far. Hopefully, it can give someone else some ideas about how to approach their work. Yeah, hopes you in your draft. Hope it helps you in your drafting sessions. Thanks.